Good morning, my name is Alexia and today I'm reporting findings that relate to a recent review of the management and HR practices of Ashmore Retail. The current internal business situation at Ashmore Retail can be considered as unsatisfactory, as it lacks cohesion throughout and would require the implementation of a human resource management department to facilitate meaningful change. Ashmore Retail is a clothing company that is located in Robina Town Centre. The company is claimed to have a flat departmental structure, but the stimulus states that the company consists of numerous divisions including marketing and sales, indicating that the structure is in fact a vertical structure with a range of middle management positions and supervisors in place who are responsible for their own department. Chelsea Roberts is the CEO and owner of Ashmore Retail, a sole trading business. Being a sole trader, Ms. Roberts is expected to be legally responsible for every aspect of her business, keep all the profits and control all her assets. Business decisions are also controlled by her, but unfortunately Ms. Roberts has unlimited liability of debts as there isn't a legal distinction between the assets of the business and her own. In terms of internal factors contributing to the current business situation, Ashmore Retail has quite a long list. This list includes high turnover of staff, poor processes implemented relevant to HRM, insufficient pay structures, inadequate job descriptions, a dictatorial style of leadership, no evidence of training and development, no appraisals in the past 6 months, low staff retention, gender inequality, and external recruitment. I have chosen 5 main internal factors to explore, which include insufficient pay structures, inadequate job descriptions, high turnover of staff, the dictatorial method of leadership, and external recruitment. When looking at insufficient pay structures, Stimulus 2 shows that the annual salary for positions such as assistant managers, marketing managers, and office managers, etc. are being paid at least $3,000 less than what they should be. This means that Ashmore Retail staff are not getting their entitlements, which can result in ill feeling towards the business, its owners, and managers. Inadequate job descriptions can be quite damaging as well. Without clearly outlined job descriptions, the hiring managers run the risk of employing people who aren't qualified for the job or who might not be the right fit. This then leads to ineffective appraisals as managers end up assessing employees based on their personality and what they like and dislike about them rather than their performance. Not only that, employees are not clear on what's expected of them, so they do what they think they should be doing or less than that. Ashmore Retail staff turnover numbers are quite high and can fluctuate for several reasons. Some of the reasons that might be driving staff away from Ashmore Retail would include the following: no strategies to motivate and reward new and existing employees, insufficient pay structures, and a dictatorial method of leadership. Ashmore Retail has a dictatorial method of leadership where the manager or leader of a department operates as if they were a dictator. This style of leadership is quite helpful in crisis situations, but the one-way communication can send the business into a frenzy and lead to several issues. The final key internal factor would be Ashmore Retail's external recruitment. While recruiting is done externally for the business, the act of recruitment can be considered as an internal factor. Because recruiting is done externally, usually through a recruitment agency, it is greatly affected by poor job descriptions and poor policies that exist within the company. For Ashmore Retail and any other business, this can lead to recruiting the wrong people or recruiting the right people who end up being turned off by the internal factors of the business. Due to external recruitment, people within Ashmore Retail may feel as though they aren't getting a chance to further their careers, meaning that the company is sacrificing internal development for external employment. Primary and secondary research was conducted to identify key issues relevant to the current business situation. A survey was conducted for Ashmore Retail as primary research. 20 other retail store managers were asked the following 2 questions. How do you recruit for positions that become available, and which managerial style is most prevalent in your company? The results are as follows. This graph shows the responses to the first question. While 15% of respondents replied with internal referral and 30% replied with external advertising, and an additional 15% replied with a recruitment agency, 40% of them replied with internal recruitment. This means that these companies prefer to offer additional positions to their employees first before offering them to others outside of the business. The trend that is related to the first survey would be that internal recruitment is the most popular form of recruitment. Ashmore Retail can use this information to determine what sort of recruitment they should implement and whether recruiting externally only is the best way to go. By looking at this information, it would indicate that offering internal recruitment first is a better strategy that Ashmore Retail should consider. This graph is another survey question that was brought up to the same 20 managers. This survey question focused on the type of internal management that was a part of their business. By looking at the graph, only 10% of respondents replied with a dictatorial method, which happens to be the same management style that is implemented at Ashmore Retail. The most popular management style that was implemented into a business was in fact a democratic management, sitting at 50%, which would indicate that this style is a trend. Ashmore Retail can now use this information as a guide to determine if their current management style is the right way to go. Secondary research was then found to identify any further issues. The first topic that was researched was appraisals. It was found that large organizations will usually have performance appraisals 1 to 2 times a year, and even smaller organizations will do the same. But there are several forms of appraisals, therefore the times they are conducted vary. Many organizations hold appraisals once a year to tie in with budgets and rewards. Some employees might see these as the only important feedback they get, which may tie into their employee bonus. Another form of appraisals is a development appraisal that can occur up to 5 times a year, to see how employees are performing and how the needs of these employees are fitting in with the work they are carrying out on behalf of the organisation. The final type of appraisal is a performance appraisal that can take place once a year but should be occurring throughout. Appraisal interviews might be the only time the manager will meet with an employee to discuss their performance. The trend for appraisals is that they are usually done at least once a year and at most 5 times a year. Ashmore Retail can use this information to help with deciding on which appraisal is best for them. But when choosing a type of appraisal, Ashmore Retail must keep in mind how adequate their job descriptions are, as managers won't be able to give the appropriate appraisals to the appropriate people with the appropriate skills. The second topic that was researched was workplace inequality, which is evident at Ashmore Retail, where several cases of sexual discrimination were reported over the past year with little to no action taken, proving that this is a major issue. Another major issue is Australia's gender equality, which has improved over time, but women continue to earn less than men and are less likely to advance their careers as far as the men in their lives. But along with the issues women face, men too face issues where they don't have as much access to family time, as they don't have as many policies that allow them parental leave or flexible working arrangements. Adam Grant, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, said that the odds of women improving their careers in their lives is 15% lower than men. He continues to say that this isn't because they aren't capable, but due to the sticky floors and glass ceilings that are holding them back. Today, women earn 18.8% less than men in their lives for doing the exact same job. But because women have been surrounded by a discouraging environment, they begin to think that they aren't actually good enough to move up in their careers and get further in life. The trend that is related to workplace inequality would be that men are treated as superior to women. The fact that Ashmore Retail has multiple cases of sexual discrimination and nothing is being done is quite concerning. Workplace inequality doesn't just affect a woman's bank account, but also her potential to excel in the future. Ashmore Retail should use this information as a warning and should work to improve their gender gap within the business by changing the ratio of men to women from 3 to 1 to something more equal. After both primary and secondary research was completed, 2 strategies that Ashmore Retail should consider implementing were found. These included recruiting internally and a change of management style. In terms of recruiting, Ashmore Retail should consider implementing internal recruitment. While recruiting externally is good as it brings in the new ideas and a wide range of experience and more potential employees to choose from, it is also a much longer and more expensive process due to advertising and interviewing. Internal recruitment, however, is much cheaper and much quicker as people already are aware of the business and the way in which it runs. Managers can provide opportunities for promotions which can motivate employees, reduce training time, and make educated decisions on candidates as they already know the strengths and weaknesses of the business and its employees. If Ashmore Retail decides to start with offering internal recruitment first, then they have the ability to add additional recruitment later on. If internal recruitment isn't offered in a business, then existing employees may feel as though they are missing out on the opportunity to advance their career paths, potentially leading them to find a better job elsewhere as they aren't progressing. For internal recruitment, the best way to monitor it would be to monitor performance within the business. If the managers are confident in recruiting internally, then this is definitely a strategy Ashmore Retail should consider implementing. The second strategy that Ashmore Retail might want to consider is a change of managerial style. While a dictatorial method is great in crisis situations, the one-way communication can lead to misunderstandings and a variety of miscommunication issues. After completing research, the managerial style Ashmore Retail should adopt is democratic. This style of leadership can fit any sort of business as it has multiple solutions for complex issues. It can also promote a creative and safe work environment to build a strong team and a strong business, and it is one of the most popular management styles as discovered through primary research. Under this type of management, teamwork and communication is extremely important, and managers still have the ability to make the final decision when an agreement cannot be reached. In terms of the new management style, staff surveys and ad hoc feedback would be required. Questions will consist of whether they have been included in decision making and if staff are being heard and if their ideas are being considered. For HR managers, they can monitor the staff turnover. As it is already high, as seen in the case study, Ashmore Retail's aim is now to lower it. If the turnover rate continues to rise, then the strategy clearly isn't working, but if it does happen to decrease, then the business should continue using that strategy to their advantage. After all the research and evaluation was completed, the most beneficial strategy was determined. It is recommended that Ashmore Retail change their style of management from a dictatorial style to a democratic method. By doing so, the company will open up communication between management and staff where they can work together to make improvements that will make Ashmore Retail a better place to work. Cohesion would also improve, as would communication, and through this communication, people issues could be more openly addressed, meaning that the human resource function within the business will also improve. By implementing a human resource department with a democratic management style, it would result in less staff turnover, better recruitment, and internal progression paths. It is hoped that Ashmore Retail consider these recommendations and the implementation of a new form of management, which will result in a more engaged workforce and an increased performance. Thank you.